So, we're live. This is my first Facebook Live broadcast, and I'm pretty excited, but I'm also super nervous. If you are watching the replay of this, then I just want to really thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Wow, I've already got one person who's joined, so this is really very exciting. Before I kick off with the topic that I'm going to be talking about tonight, which is don't let the new year ruin your career, I am going to give you just a little bit of an introduction to me, just in case you don't know me or you don't know me well. So, my name is Rebecca McFarland, and I am the owner and creator of Pop Your Career. I've been working in the human resources industry for about 10 or 11 years now. I've been a HR manager, I've done agency recruitment, I've done in-house recruitment. I'm currently employed by the Australian Public Service as a senior recruitment advisor, and I have also coached heaps of clients over the last 10 years or so with regards to career development, interview preparation, career clarity, basically anything to do with your career. Over that time, I have seen literally thousands and thousands of resumes. I have interviewed or participated in interviews for thousands of candidates. I have written hundreds of resumes and other selection criteria documents, and I've also coached a lot of clients with regards to helping them find their own career fulfillment. So that's a little bit about me, just to give you a bit of an understanding about how I came to be sitting in my bedroom tonight, talking to you on Facebook Live about your career. I've really dedicated my life and my career to helping you find the fulfillment in yours. So I'm really excited to be here. So I'm going to kick straight into the topic, and what I'm talking about is don't let the new year ruin your career. So every year around this time, I see the same themes coming up. And if you are one of my subscribers, hi Holly, then you would have seen the Hump Day Digest newsletter that came out this Wednesday. And I talked to you in that newsletter about a few of the themes that I see, and I just want to cover off on those here with you tonight. So the first one is this idea of new year, new you, and I think we're always all a little bit guilty of this. New year rocks around, we make these unrealistic goals for ourselves that, you know, we know are unrealistic, and maybe we're not even that committed to achieving them in the first place. So this year, my unrealistic goal was that I was going to start taking more photos. I'm so terrible at taking photos. So I joined up, I decided I was going to do the Fat Mum Slim photo a day challenge, and I lasted it 4 days before I completely dropped it and got distracted by the next new shiny thing. This happens to a lot of people. I'm not the only one. So in terms of your career, sometimes what this might mean is that you might decide on January 1 that this year is going to be the year that you're going to climb the corporate ladder. It could be a time that you decide that you want to change your behaviour, that you're going to do something different. It might even mean that you're thinking about taking up a new job or even changing career paths. And, you know, I guess this can be a really positive thing. It can lead you to make a lot of, you know, really valuable decisions about your career. But the problem is that it can also be really disastrous. So the second theme, I'm glad that you guys agree with me. Thanks, Holly. Yes, I am live. It's a little bit crazy, but I'm glad that you guys are here and that you're joining me on this. So the second theme that I want to talk about is the New Year suckies. Now, this kicks in particularly if you've had a little bit of a break, and I know, Christy, you're probably feeling this one too right now. I know I sure am. I am still celebrating the Christmas and birthday shutdown at the moment, and I'm not due to go back to work until next week. I'm not feeling particularly joyous about going back, because the more time that I end up on holidays, the more time I get to work on Pop Your Career, and the more time I get to watch Netflix. So I'm kind of in two minds about the idea of going back to work. I love the people that I work with, but, you know, I'd much rather stay at home. The problem with the New Year suckies is that it can make you resent your job. It's hard sometimes to look on the positive, and it can be hard to sort of get your mindset back into a way where you feel good about going back from holidays, getting back into your career, and that can lead to lots of really bad decisions and bad outcomes, one of which is extreme negativity. If you've got a crappy attitude and you go back to work with that crappy attitude, then you could affect your teammates, and that could also really affect your long-term career prospects. So the third theme that I want to talk to you about is change. Believe it or not, there are some people out there that really thrive in change. I'm just going to put it out there, I'm not one of those people. But there are people that love change so much that they change for the sake of change. So you might have heard this saying, she changes her mind every time she changes her underwear. And that's what I'm talking about. These people that love the change, I think of them as lovely unicorns. They look for triggers, and they find that, it could really take anything. It could be a new year. Quite frankly, it could be the fact that it's Thursday that triggers this need or desire to make some kind of change. And what happens around this time of year is that, it is a new year, and that makes people think, I better get a new job. And again, that can be a really positive thing, but it can also be really dangerous, because sometimes the desire for change is just so strong that it means that you don't really think through the change. And then it can mean that you could potentially not really be thinking about what it is that you actually want. So that's my segue. It's not all doom and gloom that I'm here to talk to you about tonight. What I would like to cover off on is just a few tips for you to think about if you are feeling any of these themes, or you think that maybe these New Year feels sort of coming through. So the first thing is to recognize your feelings and your behavior. So, they all say the first step to getting better is acknowledging that you have a problem, right? So you need to really, recognize what you're feeling and then acknowledge it. So it could be something like somebody might say to you, oh, you've been a little bit aggro lately. That's your chance to then go away and reflect on it and think, have I been a little bit aggro lately? And then you need to really admit it to yourself. So yeah, like I have been a little bit aggro lately. Explore why, and that's all about, what is it? What's been affecting me? Why am I feeling like this? And then from there you can look to make changes and decide what you're going to put in place so that you can then move on. So what I'm really getting at is just acknowledging that it's happening, looking at these themes and thinking, that sounds like me. That's really the first step. The second step is that you need to cut yourself some slack. I say this to all of my clients, and in fact my coach said it to me too, that I need to cut myself some slack, and you definitely need to cut yourself some slack. So here's the thing. We are all human, and none of us are perfect. So don't feel as though you have to set these unrealistic expectations for yourself. And if you do, and you do catch yourself in that, then, feel free to kind of let it go. Sometimes what you need to do is to talk it out with somebody. And I think if you think maybe, you are setting some of these unrealistic expectations, then it might be bailing up a mate and, telling them what your goal is, what you're thinking, and then sort of getting a little bit of an outsider's perspective. And if you don't have a mate that you can talk to about that, then maybe it's time that you consider hiring a coach or booking a session with a coach for yourself, so that you can talk through some of those ideas. So the last point that I'm going to make tonight is that you need to work out what it is that you actually want. And I'm emphasizing the word actually because sometimes we don't really know what we want. Unless you've done the work, it can be really difficult. So what I find is that when I talk to my clients and I ask them, what is it that you're looking for? What are you trying to achieve? What do you think would be different if you were to change jobs? Then I get a lot of really mixed and quite conflicting responses. So it might be, I want to change because I'm looking for more money. I'm looking for flexible working conditions, but I also want the chance to climb the corporate ladder. But I want to work from home, and I also want an office with a view. And all of these things seem to, they are definitely conflicting, and it really shows to me that, maybe my client needs to explore a little bit more around, what's really important to them, and what might be causing the desire for change, or any of those other themes that we talked about. So what can you do about it? Just before I finish up, I'd like to let you know that I have a 7-day email course called the Career Clarity Quest. And in this 7-day e-course, you are invited to get to know yourself. It is not like one of these Clio or Cosmopolitan quizzes where you pop your answers in and then it will tell you what sort of job you're looking for. You do need to do a lot of reflection, do the work, and over the 7 days you will have the chance to really explore your strengths, your skills, your behavioural preferences, your work preferences, your motivators, your values, and all of these things sort of form together to make up what could potentially be your ideal or dream career. So the email course is completely free, and you can sign up today and start immediately. Now, I have just printed this out with the course details here. It's going to go in backwards, unfortunately. So it is just www.popyourcareer.com/career-clarity-quest. But I will add a link to this post afterwards if you are thinking about joining. And as soon as you join, you can start going through the quest immediately. You will get access to an ebook to kick you off, and you'll also get a subscription to my weekly newsletter, which is the Hump Day Digest, and it comes out every Wednesday with updates for Pop Your Career, and also interesting, useful and practical career advice and tips each week. I just want to thank you so much for those of you who have watched live tonight, and who have been here to give me the thumbs and the hearts. It really does mean a lot. And again, if you are watching this on the replay, thanks for watching. I'd really love your feedback. I'm hoping to do some more of these Facebook Lives, and hopefully put out some more useful and practical tips that'll help you on your way to finding your dream career. All right, that's it from me. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.